Hello and welcome back to Tao Holistic Wellness. Today's topic, the metal element. So in Earth, we came to an end of the productive side of the cycle. The yearly wood and fire ends in Earth, which then gives birth to metal, beginning the declining phase. Now, the declining phase is often seen as an enemy or an obstacle because we're ambitious. Human beings are driven. They always want to do and create and bring more productivity into the world. But if you don't have metal, it's kind of like being a wild child. You're just kind of running and using energy, but it's not very refined. It's just blunt. So metal is the opposite of wood. Wood has to do with the spring, youthfulness, bringing things to life. But you need the metal to shape the wood. So wood is always growing, but in order for it to complete itself, it has to have something against it. Metal is obstacles, but it's also the future contribution to our growth from the obstacles. Metal puts a stop to things. If we look at biochemistry for a second, the water is the genetics themselves. And then wood is the energy that plans and activates the forming of those genes into a being. But if growth is uncontrolled, it results in things like cancers, tumors. So metal is like the stopping point in genes. It's what tells them to stop, to shut down and be still, and thus preserves the overall health for a long time. The season of metal is autumn. It's the fall. Things are starting to get cold and dry. They're dispersed. In metal, the plants begin to retreat. They pack up their leaves and actually bring the nutrients and energy that was in their leaves back into the trunk, where they wait in hibernation till the next season. Since Earth is the mother, it's the meeting point, it's everything coming together, that then gives birth to metal, which is the father. It's the yang under yin. So at yin we have ultimate creation. It's the fullness of everything in the universe. But then even after that is done, the yang goes beneath it and drives itself even further into the darkness and creates the father. So metal has to do with both our father archetype, our birth father, and our spiritual father, God the Father. The metal element is the image of what we're aiming for. It's the refining of the energy in wood, the child. Metal is everything that has to be cut away in order for that form to reach its full potential. So metal is the archetype of the masculine doing work in the world of obstacles, in the world of samsara, as the Buddhists call it. Metal is gritting its teeth and bearing down and being hard and strong and persevering despite all the challenges. And this is how we refine our metal element, is through challenge. The smell of the metal element is rotten. So after the fragrance of earth is departing, things take a turn into the less pleasant side. The metal smell is kind of like decay. It's usually smells that are unpleasant, but they're real and necessary. A good example of the metal smell could be like body odor from working hard. It has that sort of foul offensiveness to it, but also that sort of masculine appeal almost. The taste of metal is spicy. It's that yang heat in the physical molecules, creating a sensation of burning. And spiciness is often used to gauge personality and toughness. The more spice you can handle, the stronger you are, the more resilient you are to pain. So metal is all about endurance, resistance, and moving through pain. The color of metal is white. It's the color of purity. It's emptiness. It's all of the light. It's all the photons at once, making the color white. Metal also has to do with the emotion grief. It's all about loss and departure. When people die, we experience the metal element because they're beyond us now, while we're left to endure the loss. Metal is mourning and sadness. It's sorrow. It's crying. But within that sadness, you can always find hope. Thank you for watching, and have a great autumn cutting away what is no longer necessary and refining yourself for next year.